In this video, we are going to try to understand what led to the recent coup in Burkina Faso. We are going to look at the situation in the country leading up to the coup, how the coup was orchestrated, and lastly, what the domestic and international response was. First, located in West Africa, Burkina Faso has a population of 20.9 million people, with roughly 2.5 million living within the capital of Ouagadougou. It is bordered by Niger and Mali to the north, and the Ivory Coast, Ghana, Togo, and Benin to the south. Burkina Faso has been ruled by Roch-Marc Christian Kabore since 2015 when he was elected with roughly 53% of the vote. This marked the first electoral transfer of power in Burkina Faso history. Kabore was later elected again for a second term in 2020, winning with roughly 57% of the vote. Since Kabore took power in 2015, the nation has been facing an ever-worsening security threat. ISIS and al-Qaeda-aligned forces have come into the country from neighboring Mali and have begun to set up strongholds mainly in rural areas and carrying out attacks against government forces and civilians. This has left over 1.4 million people being displaced from their homes. The Burkina Faso military is heavily underfunded and therefore has had little success in any anti-terrorism measures. In June 2021, the deadliest attack in the history of Burkina Faso occurred in Solhem, a remote village along the eastern border with Niger, killing 160 civilians. Both these attacks caused large protests to erupt across the country, mainly in the capital of Ouagadougou, demanding that the situation be taken care of and a desire for safety and security in the nation. Protests demanding the need for increased security had become common as the security situation continuously decreased. On January 22nd, anti-government protests occurred in the capital once again due to the rising security threat. The next day, on January 23rd, gunfire had erupted in front of the presidential residence, and it was reported that Kabore had been detained by soldiers. It was also reported that troops had surrounded the state-run broadcasting facility, and the political headquarters of the president's political party had been looted. The next day, on January 24th, military captain Sidsori Kader Ouedraogo announced on national television that Kabore had been deposed from his position as president and declared that the parliament and the constitution have been dissolved. He stated that the patriotic movement for safeguarding and restoration have taken control due to the deteriorating security situation and will work to establish a schedule for new elections, but gave no further details. And on January 31st, the military junta appointed military officer Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba as the president and restored the constitution. The international community condemned the coup, with many calling for a peaceful path to dialogue and the release of Kabore. ECOWAS and the African Union both suspended Burkina Faso's membership. On the other hand, within the capital of Ouagadougou, there were large celebrations and outward support for the military coup. French flags were being seen burnt at the celebrations as France, Burkina Faso's past colonial ruler, has been unable to help assist the government in a successful way to fight the growing security threat. Some of those celebrating were seen holding Russian flags, calling for an intervention similar to that of the Central African Republic, where Russian mercenaries were brought in to mitigate the unrest and growing security threat within the country. These mercenaries have been behind numerous human rights abuses within the Central African Republic and around Africa, as Russia has been growing its military presence across the continent. Lastly, this has not been Burkina Faso's first coup attempt. In the past 20 years, there have been 3 failed coup attempts in 2003, 2015, and 2016. Time will tell how this coup attempt will play out. Burkina Faso's most recent coup marks the 5th coup or coup attempt in Africa within this past year. Subscribe and stay tuned for a full video looking at the influx of coups that have been happening across the region and the effects that it is having.